Okay, let's talk about a revolution, a change that's been bubbling under the surface for decades, but is now arriving with shocking speed. This isn't just another tech upgrade, it's a fundamental shift in what's even possible, and it's happening right now.
So take a look at this number. Let it sink in for a second. That's 10 septillion. It's more than just a bunch of zeros on a screen. This number is the key to understanding the massive gap between the technology we have today and what's coming. It represents a barrier we're about to completely shatter.
And this is what that number really means. It's wild. A problem that would take our world's fastest supercomputer longer than the age of the entire universe to solve was just cracked by a new kind of machine, and it did it in 5 minutes. The time it takes to brew a pot of coffee. This isn't just a little bit faster, it's a whole new category of computing. So, you have to be asking, how? How is that even possible? What on earth changed? Well, it wasn't just about building a faster chip. This was about solving a fundamental 40-year-old problem, a fatal flaw that everyone thought made large-scale quantum computing pretty much impossible. Right. For decades, quantum computing had this massive paradox. Imagine you're trying to build a world-class orchestra, but every single time you add a new musician, the whole group just gets more and more out of tune. That's exactly what was happening. The more power you added, more qubits in their language, the more noise and errors you got. The system would literally just fall apart. But now, what if adding more musicians actually made the orchestra sound better? What if they could tune each other? That's the breakthrough. It's a concept called below-threshold error correction, and it's a total game changer. It's like a self-healing system where the qubits basically work together to cancel out each other's mistakes. So now, more qubits means a more stable, more powerful computer. This is the moment it went from a fragile lab experiment to world-changing technology. Okay, so with that fatal flaw solved, the floodgates have just burst open. What felt like a distant sci-fi dream is now on a very real 3-year countdown. We're about to witness a shockwave of innovation that will reshape entire industries. And it's starting like right now.
And you know what happens when the science makes a leap like this, right? The money follows. And boy, is it following. We're talking about a market that's projected to be worth over $20 billion by 2030. That's a tidal wave of cash pouring into everything from hardware to software. To put that in perspective, it's growing faster than the internet did back in the 90s. So, how's this all going to play out? Well, the next 3 years are absolutely critical. We're going to see quantum computing go from this niche, super specialized tech to a mainstream force. And it's going to happen in 3 pretty distinct stages. First up, 2025. This is the year it gets real. This is where the rubber meets the road, and we're already seeing it. HSBC, they're using quantum to make bond trading predictions 34% better. Ford, they've cut down vehicles scheduling, a ridiculously complex problem, from 30 minutes to under 5. And IonQ is speeding up medical simulations. See, this isn't science fiction anymore. This is bottom-line business value. Then comes 2026. This is the year this insane power gets into the hands of, well, everyone. You're not going to need a multi-million-dollar physics lab to build the next great quantum app. Think about what AWS did for cloud computing. It made supercomputers accessible to anyone with a credit card. That's what's happening here. IBM, Microsoft, AWS, they're all putting quantum on the cloud. Just imagine what millions of developers are going to create with this kind of power. And that brings us to 2027. And folks, this is the big one. This is the inflection point. It's the year the lockpick could become more powerful than the lock. See, quantum computers can essentially try every possible password at the same time. The encryption that protects basically our entire digital world. Your bank account, your private data, our national security, it could all become useless, literally overnight. This isn't some far-off problem. It's a ticking clock. Okay, so that sounds a little scary, I know. But beyond the risks, what are the rewards? Where are we going to see the first world-changing breakthroughs? Because this new power isn't just an abstract idea. It's already starting to reshape some of the planet's most important industries. I mean, just think about it. In pharma, we could design new life-saving drugs in days instead of decades by perfectly simulating molecules. In finance, we're already outperforming the old models. In materials science, we're talking about solving 40-year-old puzzles to create new batteries that could power a car for 1,000 miles. And in AI, we can finally tackle the kind of complexity that traditional machine learning just chokes on. These aren't just small improvements. These are the grand challenge problems we thought were unsolvable.
But, this whole revolution isn't just about the tech. It's about people. And it's creating this really fascinating dynamic. On one hand, a massive, desperate scramble for talent, and on the other, an absolute gold rush of investment.
And this right here, this is the human bottleneck. The situation is pretty stark. For every 3 open quantum jobs out there, there's only 1 person qualified to fill them. This talent gap is maybe the single biggest thing that could slow this whole revolution down. We can build the machines, but who's going to run them?
And that gap is only getting bigger. The estimate? We're going to need 250,000 new quantum professionals by 2030. That is a huge, huge challenge. But you know what? It's also a once-in-a-generation opportunity. If you're looking for a field where you can make a massive impact, well, this is it.
And on the other side of that coin, you have this. This is what the financial gold rush looks like. We are seeing stock market gains that are, frankly, hard to even process. It's a massive signal that the market is betting big, and I mean big, on a quantum future. But hey, like any gold rush, it is a wild ride. The potential rewards are insane, but the risks are just as big.
So when you put all of this together, what does it all mean? Look, this isn't just another tech trend. It's not the next smartphone or social media app. This is something much, much bigger. We're talking about a fundamental change in how we interact with the physical world, a change as profound as any we've ever seen.
Maybe the best way to really grasp the scale of what's happening is to look back at the moments that truly defined human history. The discovery of fire, the harnessing of electricity, the quantum revolution. It belongs in that same category. It's not just a new tool, it's a fundamental expansion of what we as a species are capable of.
So the point is, this isn't some far-off future we're heading towards. It's the present we're already living in. The quantum revolution has already started. The only real question left is, what part are you going to play?